All rise. We will obey. Please be seated. We will swear.
Thank you very much. We will make our ruling on the prosecutor's application to declare witness 604 a hostile witness at this stage. Before making that ruling, I want to declare that we're not yet going to make any ruling on the applicability of Rule 68. It is something that we'll take up again if the need arises to do that, but it was useful to signal whether or not there may be a fight on that matter when the time comes, fight between the parties on it. To that extent, that is the extent of the exercise on 68. But now the ruling on whether or not those witnesses to be declared a hostile witness. We have an obligation, the Chamber, to strike a balance that takes all appropriate interests into account, including, of course, the interest of the witness under Article 68. To that end, it is important to reduce as much as possible the state of affairs in which the witness is subjected to cross-examination by every counsel who asks him questions. So I say, to the extent that it is possible to avoid that, that would be the best course. He may well come to the point where that is what happens in the process, especially if there is a risk, a real risk of jeopardy to the search for the truth. But the Chamber's position is that it is premature at this stage to declare this witness a hostile witness, without prejudice, of course, to the facility to the prosecutor further on to revisit the application if he considers it necessary to do so. But in the meantime, we know that the prosecutor has already indicated areas in which he has elicited testimony that appear inconsistent with what the witness had deposed to, or rather given to in a statement to the prosecutor. It's important that the prosecutor also continues to explore other areas of interest, of critical interest to the case. That is the ruling of the Chamber at this time.
As the Court pleases, Your Honours, may I just seek one point of clarity? Your Honour mentioned in the course of argument the possibility of exploring previous or the prior inconsistent statements through asking closed or leading questions. Is it Your Honour's ruling that at this stage, the prosecution may resort to that technique, or that I should continue to lead the witness as a normal prosecution witness at this point?
1 second. The clarification, first of all, is, of course, to cover other areas, broadly speaking, that the prosecutor wants to explore, and these, we have those areas. Within that, there is good sense in seeing whether or not a little more prodding through the other methods may work, including the possibility of refreshing memory. But these things are not set in stone. It's a human process. At some point, there comes a point where a determination needs to be made either by the prosecutor or apparent to the judges that it may be a wasted exercise to do it. So if that is the case, but until we see, let's try and see if that is what is happening or not.
Thank you, Your Honours. I'm so guided.
We will now bring in the witness, and we will go today until 1:10, and then we'll, but no later than that, for our luncheon break.
As Mr. President, the witness will be escorted in.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, the witness has been brought inside the transmission room.
Thank you very much. Witness, welcome back. We are back in open session, and the prosecutor will continue asking you questions. I remind you again, please try and observe the pause. Wait for the prosecutor to finish his question. Count to 5 in your mind before you start answering. Also, be mindful to not indicate, when we're in the public session, to indicate information that might reveal of your identity, might be revealing of your identity. Okay?
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Steinberg, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honours. Good morning, Mr. Witness.
Good morning.
Mr. Witness, just by way of reminder, you are, of course, still under your former oath that you took yesterday. Do you remember that?
I've not got a new one.
I'm reminding you that you are still under the oath to tell the truth that the learned judge, the learned president referred you to yesterday. You understand?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Witness, just before we adjourned yesterday, we were dealing with a document, an affidavit, that you had attested to in the presence of your lawyer, Mr. Mutai. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And just so there can be no misunderstanding, you confirm that you're familiar with the contents of this statement, this affidavit?
Yes.
In fact, I presume you have a copy of this affidavit, is that right?
Yes.
And again, so there can be no understanding, what do you say about the contents of this affidavit here before the court? Is it true, or is there anything in this affidavit which is untrue or incorrect? I'm referring the affidavit you made before Mr. Mutai. Do you understand the question?
Mr. President, I think the affidavit is about 3 pages. And it's only fair that it be put in front of the witness and let him have a look at it in order to be able to assess whether there is anything in it he does not wish to confirm to be correct or not. Because now, as it is, it's like he's just speaking from a vacuum. He does not have any reference to the affidavit. It's difficult for him to say at the top of his head that everything in it is correct.
Mr. Steinberg?
Your Honours, we're dealing here with a two-page and 3-paragraph affidavit that was made 3 weeks ago, an affidavit that the witness is in possession of. As a general matter, I will come to the specifics. But as a general matter, I would like to ask the witness, as he sits there now, whether there is anything he knows to be incorrect in his statement. Maybe I should take it at that level first.
But the objection, rather, is whether that the document be put in front of the witness so that he is looking at it. Is that not a fair point?
Your Honours, it is a fair point if one is to test the minutiae and the correctness of the minutiae. But let me ask him, if he's told any falsities in this statement, that is something which is not a question of memory. He should know exactly what that is. So let me first deal with the truth of the affidavit, and then we can deal with the reliability and the accuracy in the manner my learned friend suggests. That is my proposal, Your Honours.
Let's have the witness answer the question. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you, Your Honours. So, Mr. Witness, let's start with the question. At the time you gave this affidavit before Mr. Mutai, were you satisfied that what you were telling him was the truth, or is there anything that you told him which was, to your knowledge, false?
It is true.
Thank you, Your Honours. And what was the reason why you decided to attest to this affidavit?
Because I knew that the evidence I had regarded was false. So I didn't see any need of going and testifying something which I knew it was false.
So, well, certainly one of the main purposes you now pointed out was to establish what was false about your statement that you made to the ICC investigators. Is that right?
Yes, it is right.
And what about the reasons for your making that false statement? Did that have anything to do with your making this affidavit, to tell why you had made a false statement?
Sorry?
You told the court that you wanted to make a statement to the effect, you wanted to make an affidavit to the effect that your original statement was untrue, correct?
Yes.
I notice in your affidavit you give certain reasons why your statement was untrue, why you gave an untrue statement to the investigators. Was that also one of the reasons for this affidavit?
Yes.
And I presume then that you would have told your lawyer all the important facts surrounding why you made a false statement and what was false in the statement. Is that fair?
I'm not getting you well.
Was it important to you that all the important information relating to why you gave a false statement to ICC investigators was recorded in your affidavit? You understand?
If you still do not understand, you can say so.
Yes, I still don't understand.
Okay. You told the chamber a moment ago that one of the reasons you gave this statement was to explain why your statement to the ICC investigators was false. Correct?
Yes.
And in fact, you talk in this statement about certain promises that were made to you by the investigators. You remember that?
Yes.
Was it important to record all the details of why you gave the false statement? All the important details?
I didn't have the statement by myself, so I couldn't point out which were facts and which were false.
Well, for the time being, let's accept that. But I'm not talking about now what was false in your statement. I'm talking about why you gave the statement which was false. You understand? You understand the difference?
Yes.
So I'll repeat the question. Was it important for you to record in this affidavit all of the important reasons why you gave a false statement?
Still, I'm not getting you.
I think perhaps this is a matter which I might return to at a later stage in a different way.
Do you witness? Are there other reasons? Are there other reasons why, in your mind, you gave the false statement to the prosecutor? Which other reasons you have not indicated in the affidavit that you swore? Do you understand that question?
Yes, Mr. President.
That is, are there additional reasons that you did not include in the affidavit?
But, Mr. President, this is why I thought that it was only fair that the affidavit be placed in front of the witness so that he could, in his mind, check whether there are other reasons and whether those reasons are contained in the affidavit or not.
Mr. Steinberg, is that the question you were driving at?
That was the destination, but not the starting point. The starting point that I'm trying to establish was whether or not, in the witness's mind, at the time he made the affidavit, he appreciated the importance of giving a full account of the reasons why he deposed or gave a false statement to the prosecutor. The contents was then a follow-up question which I was leading to. But perhaps I can answer this question. I can ask this question. Now, this is not a statement this is not an affidavit that you drew up yourself. You drew it up with the assistance and advice of your lawyer, Mr. Matai. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you knew that this was a statement that you would have to swear to the truth to? Is that right? You knew that you were going to take an oath as to the truth of this statement?
The affidavit. But
Affidavit, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
And in fact, at paragraph 20, it's stated that all that is stated herein is true to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did your lawyer explain to you the importance, then, of accuracy in an affidavit that you were going to take an oath as to the correctness and truth of? Did you understand it was important to be accurate in what you said?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Court Officer, may I please ask that you call up this document at this time? The ERN is KenOTP 01351135. And the page I'm looking for is 1137, please. While that is coming up, Mr. Witness, can I just ask you this question? You say you have a copy of this statement. When last did you read through it, this affidavit?
On Tuesday.
Tuesday this week?
Yes.
So it's fair to say, isn't it, that you have a very good idea of what's contained in this affidavit?
Yes.
Mr. Court Officer, can you confirm when it's on the screen, please?
I confirm that the document as referenced by counsel at page 1137 is presented to the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Court Officer. Can I ask you, please, to read through the paragraphs 1 to 7 as they appear on that page? Let us know when you're finished, please. Can I just have confirmation that you can hear us because the picture is frozen?
Yes, I hear you.
Thank you. Then I can't see you, so please let me know when you finish reading. Disconnected. Your Honour, I see we've disconnected. You finished reading, sir?
Yes, I finished.
All right. Now, getting back to the question which His Honour the President posed to you earlier, does this statement accurately reflect the reasons why you gave a false statement to the ICC investigators?
Yes.
And does it completely describe the reasons why you gave the false statement, or is there anything you've left out?
For now, I don't think I've left. I don't think I left anything out.
Okay, you're satisfied with that version, correct?
Yes.
All right. Can I ask you, please, to turn to the court officer to call up the next page, which is ERN 1138 of the same series.
Page 1138 is being presented to the witness.
Thank you. And I direct your attention to paragraph 8. If you could please read through paragraph 8. Just paragraph 8, please. The first 4 bullet points. Let me know when you're done. Have you done with paragraph 8?
Yes.
And I understand that you say you didn't have your statement with you, that there may be other areas of your statement that were incorrect. But what appears there under bullets 1 to 4, is that correct? Those things, you told the investigators those things that were false. Firstly, that you'd gone to the house of Mr. William Ruto and were there witnessing a meeting when election violence was planned. You recall that you told that and that was false?
Yes.
And secondly, that you had mentioned persons by the name of Farouk Kibet, Christopher Casorio, and Solo, who had told members of the Kalenjin community to attack and expel the
Mr.
Kikuyu
President,
community.
I think we are in public session.
Your Honours, the witness says that these things never happened. I'm not sure I understand on what basis my learned friend thinks these would be identifying.
It's the same basis to which counsel put that information on a PIS.
On our part, Mr. President, we support that this be conducted in the open.
Your Honours, I'm in the Chamber's hands. I'm happy to do this in private session if necessary.
Mr. President, we are happy to have this conversation in the open. But it is Council's case. He put this information on a PIS, I suppose, for a particular reason, unless we are being told that what is contained in the PIS is of no use.
All right, let's proceed.
Thank you, Your Honours. Obviously, context is everything. Do you recall, is it correct that you made those statements and in your initial statement and that they are false?
Yes.
And thirdly, and this is certainly not identifying, that you falsely stated, point 3, words such as Kimurkelda and Kamama, as used in Mr. Joshua Arap Sang's program on Kass FM's Lene Emet, were code words meant to identify and victimize members of the Kikuyu community. You gave that false statement to the investigators? Is that correct?
Yes.
And just for the record, what does Kimurkelda mean? It's a Kalenjin word, firstly, is that right?
Yes.
And what does it mean?
Kelda in Kalenjins, the word Kelda means teeth. Then Kimur means teeth, which is stained teeth.
And when that word is used to refer to somebody, what does it normally mean? Or to whom is that word generally used to refer?
It is used to refer to any person whose teeth are affected by, is it called chlorosis?
And if in general conversation someone was to say something like, oh, well, the Kimurkelda did this, who would that refer to? Let me rephrase that. You don't seem to understand. Is this word used to refer to any particular ethnicity, people of any particular ethnicity? It's a simple question, sir. Do you not understand?
Can you repeat again?
Is the word Kimurkelda, and for the record it's Kimurkelda, is the word Kimurkelda used to refer to people of any specific ethnicity?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yes.
Kamama, Kamama. What does that word mean?
It means your uncle.
And same question, are you aware whether this is used to refer to persons of any particular ethnicity?
I'm not aware.
And then finally, is it correct that you falsely told the investigators that you had witnessed arson and destruction of property during the post-election violence?
Yes.
And the reason why you told the investigators this, as you've confirmed, is set out in your affidavit. And perhaps you can just, in your own words, explain again why you decided to give this false evidence to the investigators.
Yes. Yesterday, I said that in April last year, 2013, I was approached by a certain lady who told me that she had some connection with the ICC. Then she told me that because she was a PNU supporter, I was a PNU supporter. She approached me and told me that she was speaking with some people from the ICC. Then she told me that they were looking for some more witnesses because the key witnesses at that time had started withdrawing. So that the ICC was looking for some witnesses to go and testify. Then she told me that the main intention was to victimize the two, that is William Ruto and Joshua Sang, in the post-election violence that took place in 2007-2008. Then she told me that once you are a witness, you will be able to get a lot of support. You may, your children will go to good schools. You will live a luxurious life. You will pursue further education, and also you will be relocated in the country of your choice and not here in Africa.
Are you then saying that this is what prompted you to give a false statement to the investigators?
Yes, after being promised all those, I saw it was wonderful. Then I joined in giving the false statement.
Your Honour, perhaps we can, just for the last few minutes of this session, go into private session and just elicit some details about this conversation.
Private session.
We are in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Honours. Mr. Witness, I can maybe just repeat in public session the topic we're going into now. The lady who you mentioned, who identified to us in private session, you told us that besides telling you of the benefits you might expect as a witness of the ICC, that you had further discussions about the nature of the evidence you were going to give to the ICC. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And what were the discussions you had, or what did you discuss about your evidence?
Number one was that I should talk about political rallies that was attended by William Ruto, and if William Ruto was not there, I should mention his close allies or his close friends, because she said that it will be presumed that even if Ruto was not there and his supporters were there, then it will be accepted that Ruto sent them to represent him in that meeting. Two, I should talk about that I attended a meeting at William Ruto's home, and in that meeting it was a planning for attack against the Kikuyu community. Then three, I should talk about the violence that took place in Tarbo and the violence that took place in Eldoret.
Those three things? Is that what you discussed? Nothing else?
It may be there, but maybe I've forgotten.
Would those be the three most important things then that you discussed?
Yes.
And were there any other reasons then that you gave a false statement to the investigators, or was that the primary reason?
That was the primary reason.
Are there any other reasons you can recall now why you decided to give this false statement to the investigators? I'm giving you lots of time to think.
I can't recall any now.
Okay. So, you told the court a while ago that you appreciated the importance of the accuracy of your affidavit. Remember that?
Yes.
And you told us that one of the important reasons why you made this affidavit was to explain the reasons why you would give a false statement to the ICC. You remember that?
Yes.
And both yesterday and today, when I asked you why you would give a false statement, the first thing you mentioned is that it was the lady who we identified that had told you about all the benefits you could get, and who today you also say advised you what sort of false evidence or what evidence you should discuss or give to the ICC. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
Can you explain, please, Mr. Witness, help me out here. You've just read through your affidavit. Is there any reason why you didn't tell your attorney what you've told us now about the lady promising you benefits if you became an ICC witness? Is there any reason that's not in this affidavit?
Sorry?
Is there any reason why your affidavit makes no mention of the fact that the lady told you that if you became an ICC witness, you would receive many benefits, and that is why you decided to make a false statement? Why is that not here?
Mr. Steinberg. What does paragraph 6 say?
Your Honor, paragraph 6 does not say that the lady was the person who conveyed this information to them. In fact, if one reads in conjunction with earlier paragraphs, it would seem that the inducement was made by somebody completely different, and that's the point I'm getting at.
All right, okay.
I've repeated the question. Do you understand?
Yes.
And what is your answer? Why is that information not here? Yes, we're waiting. Can you hear me?
Can you repeat again, please?
Very well, for the third time. What I want to know is why your affidavit that you attested to before Mr. Mutai makes no mention of the fact that it was in fact the lady who told you that you could get benefits by becoming an ICC witness, and that is why you gave a false statement. Why is that not here?
Can you allow me to read that affidavit once more?
Very well. Mr. Court Officer, can you call up the affidavit at page 1137? But before it's called up, is there nothing you can remember as you sit there now before looking at your statement? Is that a no?
Paragraph 6.
Mr. Court Officer, is the document up? With the
Paragraph 6.
picture is frozen again.
The document is not up because I understood you wanted the witness to respond before I show it up. If you want me to show it, I can show it now.
Well,
we hear you loud and clear and we see you well.
I think the record should reflect that there was no response. Let's repeat that question one more time so that there's no misunderstanding. You can't recall, as you sit there, any reason why the affidavit does not say that lady firstly told me about benefits I could get if I became a witness, and secondly, told me what information to give the investigators. You can't recall any reason for that?
I can't recall that now. Maybe if I can read first and then I digest and see.
Okay. We're talking about the statement you read on Tuesday, is that right? The affidavit?
Yes.
All right. Have another look then. It's 1137. Please call it up, sir.
It is being presented to the witness, page 1137.
Now,
Paragraph.
sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
Paragraphs 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are being presented.
Yes. Before you say anything, please don't mention the name of the lady. We're in public session. And perhaps I can just direct you to paragraph 3. You mentioned the lady there, is that correct?
Yes, I'm there.
Let's just go through that paragraph. You say that I was recruited by, and you gave the name of the lady. And she introduced me to the investigators. Is that right?
Yes.
You can read through the statement if you like, sir, but counsel will correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no other mention of this lady in the statement at all, is there, in the affidavit?
Mr. President, perhaps let the witness be allowed to read this statement, and then he would answer the question.
Your Honours, I'm content to do so. Perhaps may I suggest this? It is now 10 past. Perhaps we should give this witness an hour or an hour and a half to read his statement and familiarise himself with it thoroughly, and we can take it from there when we resume.
All right. That you have no objection to that, counsel?
To reading the affidavit.
Yes. All right. Witness, we will now take our lunch break, and we will be back at 2:30. In the meantime, the prosecutor has requested that you be allowed to review that affidavit. Again, look at it, read it carefully. When we return at 2:30, he will continue asking you questions on the affidavit.
Your Honour, if I may just say that there's a further handwritten document that the witness identified yesterday. May I ask him to also have a look at that in the meantime?
As well as the handwritten document that you had identified yesterday. Can we be more particular about
Yes, Your
that?
Honours, it's Ken OTP 01351140. It's in the nature of a handwritten statement signed by the witness. This is not an affidavit, it's just a statement.
All right.
Mr. President, may I request, if it is technically possible, to provide the witness with a hard copy of the affidavit. Perhaps that is better instead of looking at it from a distance on a screen. That makes it a little more difficult.
If it is possible, court
you.
officer, to print out the affidavit referred to, as well as Ken OTP 01351140 to give to the witness. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. We'll adjourn now and come back at 2:30.
All rise. We will